Hi, welcome back to the Building Roots Lunch and Learn for Ready for Life Brevard. This week we are focusing on removing barriers for youth who are aging out of foster care and into adulthood. And I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. Part of the Removing Barriers component that we found to be effective is partnering with agencies and other organizations in the community to provide wraparound services for youth. So I have today with me Kristy Stuart from Love Inc., which I'm really excited about. So Kristy, if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little more about Love Inc., that would be great.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Corrie, for having me today. So Love Inc. is actually Love in the Name of Christ, and we are an international nonprofit. We have 130 plus in the United States, 7 in Nairobi, Kenya, 7 here in Florida, and then we've been here in Brevard County for 16 years. And our mission is to mobilize the local church to change lives and communities in the name of Christ. So basically what that means is we provide the structure for the Big C church to come together. So that's Christians. We know that the church is not the building, it's us. So for us to come together with our gifts, talents, and resources to fill that mandate that God gives each one of us to help people in need. So the people that we help, it's a hand up, so they play a part in the process. And we want to walk with people spiritually, physically, emotionally, and relationally so that they can be set free to be all that God has for them.
Thank you. That's right in line with, what we find so much with our youth and the need for connection. And without that sense of connection and that, they count, they matter, we all need that. And I love what you brought up, because it's exactly, what we see in terms of the effectiveness of everything we are trying to do, the services that we are trying to provide. They really need to know and want to know that someone's with them in it and they matter, and it matters, what the potential we hope to bring out in them and for them to believe in themselves. So I love it. Thank you so much for being with us. So my first question, we've talked a little bit about Ready for Life and what we do, and I know you're familiar with it, but just for our viewers, it's really kind of it's unique in that it provides foster youth transitioning to adulthood a place under one roof where they can find access to wraparound services and make a plan to achieve their goals. This requires a lot of coordination and collaboration with partners and agencies like yours. Do you see this as a viable and valuable solution to the complex issues faced by these youth?
Oh, absolutely. There's no point in recreating the wheel. I know that we all have our own lane, so we have the thing that God has called us to do. So connecting in and collaborating with, different agencies and the different services and resources that you need to really help these youth be successful is absolutely the way to go. Definitely.
Great. My second question, so what are some of the barriers that you see our youth are facing, barriers to a good quality of life? And then what's one thing you think we can do as a community to remove these barriers?
Well, I think that, one of those barriers really begins earlier before these kids age out of foster care, and that's really in the educational system. I think that we're really missing those basic life skill classes in our schools. We actually just had a recent budget mentoring graduation, and we had a lady in her 50s, and it was just a transformational class for her. And she was like, I cannot believe that I'm in my 50s and I did not know any of these things. And that's simply because nobody came alongside her and taught her that. So it's just, managing money, as an example, is just a basic fundamental thing that we don't learn by osmosis. We don't learn by, knowing that our parents put, a bill in the mail or pay it online, so it really takes having that educational piece as well. Another barrier, I think, is relationships. If these kids coming out of foster care did not have strong community, it really leaves them in a place of vulnerability. They could isolate. There's a lot of anxiety with, starting your life without having, those foundational relationships. So I definitely see that as another barrier as well. And the second part of your question was, what can we do as a community to remove those barriers? And that is the first thing, I think, is to advocate for change. So Love Inc. happens to be part of a faith-based group that is working directly with Brevard Public Schools, advocating to get these trades and life skill classes back in the school system. So I think that's one thing. And then the other thing is really collaboration, just really having that perspective of working together and coming alongside those vulnerable amongst us, which certainly is your clientele.
Those are such great points. The education and the lack of connection or relationships. And it is interesting to me, the collaboration like we're building, with your budget mentoring and what you guys have already solidified and are doing so well with. And now we're going to find a way to implement it, for our Ready for Life clients, and just the connection and the relationship that we need to build in order to make that effective and successful is, to me, a good representation of surrounding youth with an example of the necessity of good relationships and just being the example, advocating for change, learning what the issues are, what the suffering really is, where does it come from, and then asking yourself, am I being the change? Am I being a good example of what I hope to see that youth, accomplish or get to in their life. So those are such great points.
It's through relationship that we grow and change. And I love the point that you just made, that it really is mutual. I mean, we go into, say, volunteering and coming alongside these youth thinking I have so much to impart, but we know that they also have so much to impart to us as well. It's a mutual growth relationship. And I love that you that Ready for Life is walking right alongside them. One thing at Love Inc. is we want to walk with people through their need and not around it, knowing that God is doing a greater work in them. And of course, just like our clients, a lot of time they just don't have those basic skills. So I applaud you guys for what you're doing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think we all can relate to the people that have affected us most in our lives, or the people who have mentored or been, the biggest influence, are never like these dominant, you should do this and you should do that. It's always the people who are like, hey, who are you? What do you want to do in your life? I care. You're great. I like, and just remembering that I have a Young Life background too. So, earning the right to be a part of somebody's life is building trust, and just to do that, you really have to be authentic with, like, I I really care about this person in this moment, and just, you know, moving through the work with that focus, you know.
Yeah, and I think sharing our vulnerabilities and our own stories of failure.
Yes, absolutely. So my last question, I'd love to just hear more about kind of what you're passionate about in terms of change in the community, and how you see Ready for Life being a support to you in what you're passionate about.
Well, about 4 years ago, the Lord gave me a vision, and he gave me 4 words, and that was bringing the community together to eradicate domestic violence, payday loans, the sex trade, and drug addiction. And so we worked closely with City Fest and the Luis Palau group. And so about a year ago, we polled the faith-based community, the arts, the businesses to say, hey, what do you see as our community woes? And so what came out of that was also foster care, kids in foster care, neighborhood revitalization, homelessness, and then school partnerships, and then opioid crisis, which fits into my word, you know, of drug addiction. So I know that it's naive to think that we could eradicate that in Brevard County, but I definitely think that we could have a high impact to say, not on our watch. We're not going to put up with these community woes and really send a message. But that's going to take unity. It's going to take collaboration and people coming together to really change our county. And I think that we really have to let go of that us versus them mentality. We need to recognize that we all can't do it all. Like we have, like I said earlier, our lane of what God has called us to do. And so really working together, because, hey, if you're successful and you're helping foster children, it's going to change Brevard County. You know, so working with the different missions and what God has called them to do, and partnering and networking and collaborating is really going to change Brevard County. And I do really believe that we can be a model for our whole country. And so that's really what I am passionate about. And I will tell you that Brevard County is very unique. We are a place of unity. We are of a place of collaboration and networking. You know, certainly it's a process, but yeah, I'm excited, and I know that God's going to continue to do great things in Brevard County for people in need.
Well, those are worthy causes to fight for, I have to say, and I am excited to be on your team, and if we can be on, you know, just whatever we can do to be together, just know that, you know, we're fighting for all those same things, with a little bit younger generation, or you know, we're going to be collaborating with the financial mentoring program. And so we're just really, really grateful for our partnership with you and building our relationship together as organizations and friends. And just, I hope all those dreams you have come true, because that's
Thank you.
going to be a pretty great community. And I know it already is in a lot of ways, but you know, we can't stop fighting for what's right. And
that's right.
So great.
And you know, I think that you guys are really unique because you're catching kids at such a early vulnerable age that you have the opportunity to really change the trajectory of their life. And so when I mentioned those 8 things, wow, you have the opportunity to help them make great choices and how you really help them get sustainable. Of course, it's up to them, and you can't want it more than they do. But to be able to come alongside and provide everything that they need to have that start is just really exciting. I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I wanted to share a little bit about our thrift store.
Yes, please do. I really want you to.
Okay, so we really see our thrift store is called Village Thrift as a community thrift store. That's why it's called Village Thrift. And so I think that your audience would want to know, because I know that there are folks that have a heart for children in foster care, that any of our foster care families, a lot of time they get these kids the night before, and they can come into our thrift store and get 3 outfits per child, top, bottom, shoes, coat, whatever that they might need. And we actually do that probably for about 10 different organizations in our community, because they're working hard to help people get sustainable, and we want to support that. Pregnancy Resources, we give them cribs and strollers, and we work with Wings of Grace. They have 30 low-income homes, and when their appliances break, we give them free appliances. So we do a lot of community work. We see our thrift store as open hands to really make Brevard County a better place. So just wanted to share that.
I love that. I'd love for you to send me like a link to any information about that, and I'll make sure to put it in our Lunch and Learn as well for people to access. So thanks again, Kristy, for being with us and taking the time. Really appreciate all you do for our community, and look forward to many happy years together helping one another out. Thanks again.
Yes, go Ready for Life.
Yeah, go Love Inc. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.